Well, hello there, and today we have a very special video on the UK community channel. We have Wolftrekker. We'll be interviewing him today on his World Cup and his experience whilst he was in Stockholm. And yeah, how are you feeling, Wolf?
Hello. Yeah, excited for the interview. It'll be a good one.
Cool. Yes, Wolf. Hello. My question is, what was your favorite round from the World Cup? Both one of your own and one of somebody else's that you spectated.
Good question. Yeah, my favorite round probably at the beginning of the very first game against Radu. I got a really good Western Czech guess just based on architecture. That was a really nice round. That's probably my personal favorite from me. From somebody else. What's the best round? Thinking the final day, probably Radu's. What was that? Radu's Columbia guess was really good. That one.
Ibage one. Yeah.
Ibage, yeah, that
That's-
was really insane one. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was probably the best one.
Good choices.
Yeah,
Very good choices.
Right, my question for you, Wolf,
Mhm.
is just your journey from being in the UK, getting the flight, going to Stockholm, meeting a lot of people for the first time. Like, how was that experience traveling abroad to Stockholm, and how did you feel meeting so many new people? Like, how was the personal experience with others?
So it was just like so exciting that the whole journey. So I left like the day before my flight to go to London, stay in a Premier Inn the night before. Actually, the funny thing is I ended up going to the wrong Premier Inn because I got to Terminal 5. I'm like, okay, look for a bus. There's a Premier Inn. And I get on the bus and they take me to a Premier Inn in a different terminal to the one I booked.
Oh no.
So that was quite funny. Ended up getting there to the correct one in the end, and the next day I travelled to Heathrow, and then I had no idea that actually Rainbow was going to be on the same flight as me. So I was just, got through security. I was hanging out around the gate, and I saw that Rainbow was in London. I'm like, okay. Airport, which flight? And he ended up being about to go through security, so then we met up at the airport, and then later also the Podtake was also on our flight, so yeah, met up together and flew to Stockholm. Got to Stockholm, got through security, and it was kind of manic like the whole time in Stockholm, because as soon as we got to the hotel, started meeting people at the checking counters, like just really surreal. Suddenly meeting people like Alok for the first time. It's like it's just so exciting. And then straight away out after I checked my stuff into my room, we went into like separate taxis to the event organized by the devs. So the devs office with all food and drinks. So yeah, that was really exciting just to meet everyone else for the first time, all the competitors and all the devs. And yeah, we're just hanging out, talking about everything, watching the amazing view from the devs office of the city. And so that was just really fun, really cool experience. And then it was just, the rest of the experience in Stockholm was just jam-packed full of events. So the day after, we were practicing games together at the office. So not at the office, at the arena, in like a separate PC room. So it was really surreal, like, because normally you're just practicing together like through Discord or something, but actually playing with friends who I've known for like 5 years, but like face to face, in a room together is just really fun. So yeah, that was really cool. Yeah, and we had lots of meals organized by the devs. First day I had a really nice fish starter. That was really good. And Swedish meatballs and stuff like that. Yeah, the real event. So that was pretty nerve-wracking. So yeah, I traveled into the arena. I met you guys and I was just feeling really, really nervous because my games were in the afternoon, but I was just like kind of nervous, about my games and everything. But yeah, then my games came along and I kept pretty calm and just played my games. Obviously I didn't get through into the knockouts, but I had a pretty good run. The day after the final day, it was just really fun to watch everyone play on stage. So that was pretty incredible, really.
I was going to say, you're right in saying you had a good run. I think 3 wins, I think it was in that group, is very, very good.
Yeah.
Beat Jupa, nearly beat Radu. Yeah, can't ask for much more.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, like one victory
don't know if
away
it-
as well. Like, that's crazy. Like
Mhm.
one game could have made a difference, and like I say, when it's that tight,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
you can't really ask much more. You just did so well.
In my group, I had so obviously Jupa, Radu, Anana, Chicago, and Mate Potato. They're all like people I've known like for a long time in the community, all like really good friends. So it's just really cool to play against all of them, and that was shown on stream. So my 2 live games were Radu and CG. So Radu was shown on stream, so that added a little bit to the pressure, I guess. And obviously Radu is like an insane player. So I was fully expecting just to, lose everything and just have a horrendous time or something. And I feel like I gave it a really good shot of those games. Like the first game, I had some really good rounds. Like I was winning. I got a good like Taiwan guess. I had a good run of lots of really close guesses. In the end, I think there was just like an Indo round, and I ended up losing the first game. And then the second game, I actually won. Yeah, I had a really good Philippines guess from what I remember. So that was really nice. And so we won one, and I was like just so happy at that point because I was fully expecting to get like 2-0'd or flawless or something. Unfortunately, in the final game against Radu, I had like a really horrible New Zealand round, which I sent to Ireland because I saw like the curved gate, and I'm just getting yeah. So that was probably the worst guess of the entire games I played. I was like, hey ho, it's just one guess, and and I moved on to the next game against Mate Potato. So that was shown off screen, and I feel like that's probably the one games I didn't play as well. I just had some bad Russia guesses that I could have done better at. I had some good guesses as well, but I guess that's just one set of games I didn't play as well, and yeah, he beat me deservedly 2-0. So I was like, yeah, just trying to stay calm and like hoping that I'm going to get some good games. And I felt good about like the next games. I felt good that I was going to get some wins. So then I played against CG. And that was shown on stream. And I feel like just all around I had some really nice guesses. And yeah, that was just really good games for me. Then played against Ananana, ended up beating him 2-1. There was one really good Argentina guess where I pinpointed like got the 5k on like a lake, so that was really nice. But the one game I lost, it was a Mexico, maybe a Mexico no moving, I can't remember, but he found the road. It was like the number 3 in Mexico, and I just guessed way too south, and it was like a lot of damage basically just from one guess in Mexico. And then the last games against Jupa. Jupa again was a player like Radu, who I was fully expecting to get completely wiped out, like 2-0 or something. But I ended up playing really well and got some really good. A lot of Europe rounds were in my favor. I think a lot of like architecture-based rounds were really nice, and a lot of good signage kind of rounds, which I think is also my strong point against a player like Jupa. So and I lost the no moving game. And the crazy thing is, I was winning up to round 9 or something, and then the last round was a para round in Brazil, and Jupa is like the god at Brazil. So even though I actually got para right on that game, but obviously he's the god at Brazil, so I was just so happy to have played well. Like I wasn't really thinking too much about like whether I was going to qualify or not, especially because I lost my first 2 games. So it was kind of just like I was just happy that I didn't, mess up too much, and then I played really well. And yeah, then afterwards it was kind of like a bummer that I didn't qualify, but I was just like, I don't know, whatever. It's fine. Just to enjoy the rest of my time in Stockholm. So
Quite nice that, because even if you don't qualify, as long as you're
yeah,
happy with how you play, you can just then enjoy the rest of the
yeah,
event. Because I'm
exactly.
sure
Yeah.
it's tiring and stressful to still be playing, and if you
Mhm.
feel like you've done a good
Yeah,
job, then you can just relax.
yeah, for sure. I had so many like rounds when I was practicing where I was just playing arbitrary rural and just getting horrendous like opposite side of Russia guesses or like wrong
Yeah.
continent guesses. And I was like, oh no, I hope just don't do too many of these in the actual thing.
Yeah.
But I think it helped a lot that the map was very info based, quite urban based. I think is good for my particular strengths as well. So that helped a lot. Yeah.
Awesome.
I ended up just being really fun. I really enjoyed like when I was playing. I was just having so much fun, just like I normally play. And yeah,
Now we can start asking the questions from the community.
Yes. So, question from
yeah.
my boy Swerb: who did you enjoy meeting the most at the World Cup?
Ooh, yeah, good question. I find it hard to like think of one particular person just because there's so many legends that turned up. It has to be mostly like the kind of big names that I probably didn't meet in Paris. People like CG, people like Zigzag was really cool to meet, and people I've known for like a long time, like Alok Debre, and you guys, of course, because like obviously, yeah, GCI, I met you in Paris, and also Harry, I like talked to each other so much, so like it's just really cool to meet you as well. So I can't say like one person.
Sure.
Everyone's a legend in real life. Yeah, it's just
True.
amazing.
That is true.
Right, now we've got a question from Hamfrags. He asks, what do you like to watch on YouTube? So, what do you like to watch on YouTube?
What do I like to watch on YouTube? Oh, aside from GeoGuessr videos, of course I love watching GeoGuessr videos, but I also love I watch a lot of travel vloggers. Yeah, I love a good kind of travel vlogger. Things like Indigo Traveler and Trubinsky and that's some big names. I like stuff like that. And bits of other things as well, but yeah, travel YouTubers, one of my big things that I love watching. Travel documentaries, things like that.
It's good to have that connection, like GeoGuessr travel. Like there seems to be always like a very close
Exactly.
connection,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Question from the legend Jog Joe UK. Did you do anything fun apart from GeoGuessr in Stockholm?
Did I do anything fun? I suppose on the last day, I had a chance to have a little explore around the city, so that was cool, do some sightseeing. And apart from that, it just generally like hanging out with everybody like throughout the whole time. It's just probably the most fun thing. Probably the meet and greet at the dev's office was a big one, just because that was the first time like I met all the competitors. So yeah, that was just the most fun, surreal experience.
And now we've got the legend Simi, of course, who was also in Stockholm, and he asks, how often does your map making experience come in clutch when playing?
Oh, good. That's a really good question. I think it's hard to say consciously how much it impacts my like gameplay. I think it must impact a lot more than I think it does because I feel like in general I've done like more map making than I have actually playing the game in some ways. So it's kind of like I can't pinpoint specific moments, but I can say that just something that goes along with the map making, just looking around Street View at different places, yeah, has a big impact on the kind of things that I've learnt in GeoGuessr.
Yeah, for sure. Like, especially when like you get around, especially if you found something that seems very out of place or something unusual for the region, and then when something comes up that looks
Yeah,
very similar, a lot of people might go somewhere else. Whereas I've looked at that
yeah,
area,
yeah,
put it on your map because it's a good location, and that can
yeah.
turn up. And with more hours put in and more of those locations, eventually it's going to come to use.
Yeah, I've definitely had those moments where, like, yeah, I have a location come up and I'm like, that's I make a really good guess just because that's a very similar location to a location that I remember mapping because I picked it out as like a particular like beta location or something. So yeah, yeah,
I've seen you do it to devastating effect sometimes in competition as well, where it's a very, very specific place, and if you don't know it, you're going to lose a lot of points. But you do
yeah,
tend
yeah,
to know a lot of things like that.
yeah. That is a big advantage for sure for map making. Yeah.
Next question is from the very good UK player Beardsif. How many countries
hmm
have you visited in real life, and what's your favorite?
Ooh, I've been to more than 50, I think. I think it's
Nice.
like 55 or something. And what's my favorite? I'm gonna say Tajikistan, just because it's like I love countries that aren't on Street View because it's also like a new experience, like something that I just never see when I'm playing GeoGuessr and stuff. So and Tajikistan is just like amazing scenery. Did like a trip along the Amir Highway, went on some hikes just in the middle of absolute nowhere. It's just so remote and so beautiful. The people are really nice as well, really friendly, and I had people like invite me into their village, and yeah, Tajikistan is just amazing. Yeah,
Wow.
I've other favorites, but yeah, Tajikistan's probably my number one.
Wow.
Um,
I mean, yeah,
yeah.
not many people can say they visited Tajikistan really.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely a bit off the path, you could
Yeah.
say. Yeah. Also love like Eastern Europe in general, like the Balkans. Is also like less known than some other places in Europe. So yeah, I love a lot of places like that.
Now we have Pup, who has asked, what is your favourite country or your favourite countries to pinpoint in GeoGuessr?
Okay, to pinpoint, probably any country that I'm the best at, so probably the UK, honestly, because I have the most place name knowledge. Also, places like Germany and France probably be up there, but probably UK the most, just because it's probably the easiest for me personally.
Yeah, I think that's all the questions from UK community, and I might as well ask you another question. But yeah, how did you feel about the event? Like, how did you feel about the organization? The developers meeting the developers, and just how the event was done. How much you liked the game modes or the setup of the games. Like, how did you feel about more to do with the production side and more to do with the setup? How did you find that, and is there
Um,
any other takeaways from it?
yeah, I would say in general, I was very like impressed by how everything was organized. I was definitely a bit skeptical at first, like, because there was a lot of controversy around the format and the round limit, and I was a little bit worried that things weren't going to be like organized that well. But as soon as I got to Stockholm, like everything was just amazing. The way they organized all the meals for us, and just all the hotel, blah blah blah, everything, and also the last day watching the format in general ended up being really fun, despite the worries about the round limit. It actually ended up not being that much of a problem. The last day watching the 8 finalists was just so many nail-biting games and tense moments. It was actually really successful, I thought. Yeah, I enjoyed it, and I liked them that the map suited me well. I don't know, I think it's probably good in the future if the map is harder locations and stuff, but for my personal skill set, I'm not complaining. So yeah, I liked it, and I liked the format. In terms of the future, I'd like to see more. I think Jules is in general a really good format for this for World Cup. But I'd like to see more team-based things. Would be really cool. I'd like to see, it'd just be really cool to see more expansion into more regional. I mean, they're starting to do stuff now already, like regional lands, and they've got stuff planned for next year. But yeah, I'd just love to see the game grow and expand to even more tournaments and tournaments that are more people to participate, and that'd be really cool.
It was one of those once in a lifetime moments, when watching it live, it was just insane. And then when Consus lifted the trophy and that picture's been taken, the rest is history. And we're all there in the crowd with Consus lifting the trophy. That's something you wouldn't think of 2 years ago. And for you, you've been playing GeoGuessr much longer than myself, and same with UGC, and to think where it all began, to see how much it's grown since, and for it to be a LAN event in front of everyone, just to look back at that, thinking I was part of that, I was there, and I played in it. That you have that as well. And like I say, it was just so monumental for everyone, and whether you're playing or not. Even me, I was just shocked with the production. I was shocked at how good it was, how well it was done, and I feel very proud of how much the community has grown in just a year or two. It's been really unbelievable, and the community has never been as close together as it ever really. This has really brought the community together, I feel and hopefully, like I say, has brought more people to the game. Is there any final words you'd like to add before we end the interview? Anything you'd like to add before we finish?
Oh, I guess what I could say is, thanks for having me on, and shout out to the devs for organising this whole event. Is just incredible, and shout out to Consus and the 8 finalists for putting on a really fun show, I guess, on the final day. And yeah, thanks a lot.